We are back at the desk with Anita Marks talking NFC playoff predictions for the year 2013. Anita, talking about the AFC, I had a hard time figuring out 6 teams that were good enough to be in the playoffs. With the NFC, it seems so much more competitive. I have a hard time figuring out 5 or 6 teams that couldn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let's hash this out. What are your 6 teams that are going to be still playing at the end of December?
All right, so let's start with the East.
Okay.
Okay, and I work for the New York Football Giants, so I know I'm gonna get a lot of slack for this.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a lot of heat.
Okay.
Okay, and that is, I think the Washington Redskins are actually gonna win this division. I think I do, but there's a big if here. The if is if RG3 can stay healthy.
Yeah,
I know
that's a capital I.
I know it's a big if, and I think it's going to be competitive between the Washington Redskins and the Giants. I like Dallas, suspect with their offensive line, and Tony Romo just doesn't do it for me.
No.
And with the Philadelphia Eagles, I think that there's just a lot of question marks about Chip Kelly's system and Michael Vick again staying healthy. So for me, it's the Washington Redskins. I think they win that division.
What about the NFC South?
All right, so the South, it's Atlanta. Look, I'm a big Steven Jackson fan, and the fact that he came over from the Rams, I think that, granted, yes, I think their running attack gets considerably a lot better. No offense to Michael Turner.
Oh,
but
I'm happily offending Michael Turner. He was awful.
I just don't want to be too mean. But how I see the Atlanta Falcons utilizing Steven Jackson in the passing game is going to be tremendous. So especially in screen situations. Yeah. So I think their offense, if their offense couldn't get any better, it just has.
Yeah.
So I really like Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to win. But again, you know, the New Orleans Saints with Sean Payton back and Drew Brees, and I think Jimmy Graham's going to have a big year. And they've got a lot of young, exciting new talent on that offense, on the wide receiving core. Rob Ryan now is there trying to help this defense at least be better than the worst in the NFL.
Okay.
So I think New Orleans is going to be in it. I look at New Orleans as a wild card, but I think Atlanta wins that division.
Let's go to the NFC North. Who you got winning the division?
All right, the North, I have Green Bay. You know, you love Aaron Rodgers. You love what he can do. Jermichael Finley, from what I understand.
Contract year.
Yeah. Disappointing
every single year, but he's out to get paid.
You have to pay attention to guys who are in a contract year.
Yeah.
You absolutely do. So I'm hearing great chemistry between them. I think Randall Cobb's going to be an unbelievable guy. And then I have all this young, exciting talent in the backfield that I think they're finally going to imagine a game where the Green Bay Packers are going to put up like a ton of points, and then at the start of the fourth quarter, they're just going to pound you to death with their running attack because they're already up. They're going to eat up the clock. They're going to take as much time off the clock as they want, and they've got Eddie Lacy, they've got Franklin, they've got all these great backs in the backfield that are just going to like dominate the fourth quarter on the ground.
And of course, the NFC West, the vaunted NFC West.
When was the last time you actually were able to say, wow, I can't wait to watch the Seattle Seahawks play football? When was that?
It was 3 years ago. 3 years ago that the Seahawks were.
You probably say it every Sunday.
Yes, unfortunately. It's a sad, sad life that I live.
But I mean, I'm so excited. I'm more excited for the Seattle Seahawks 49ers rivalry that's going to take place this season, more so than Green Bay and the Bears, more so than the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, these are, in my opinion, the 2 best teams in the NFL. It's amazing.
It's exciting. And let's get some arguing points going on.
Okay.
We've got my NFC playoff predictions.
Brace yourself.
Right there.
That was really cool.
Yeah, it would have been better if my snap actually made noise. There we go.
There you go.
As you can see, I've actually got the Cowboys coming out of the NFC East.
Really?
I think that really more than anything, it's a roll of the dice. Tony Romo, I think that he's got a terrible reputation, for good reason, mind you, but it's because he's always trying to do too much. I think that
72 sacks in the past 2 years, and that offensive line has not gotten better. So that doesn't concern you. Des Bryant's there to save the day.
What doesn't concern me is the rest of the NFC East. I just think it really comes down to a roll of the dice.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter though, because whoever the NFC comes out of the NFC East, which any of the 4 teams, they're getting steamrolled by the number 5 seed San Francisco 49ers in the first round anyway.
Okay, so we're in agreement there with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes, okay. They're making the playoffs. I think that we need to pump the brakes just a little bit on both the Niners and the Seahawks. I think that both teams will take a slight step back from last year. Still going to both be playoff teams, but not as terrific as we expected them. Also, wild card weekend, Falcons over the Packers. Moving on to the division round, we've got the Seahawks at home avenge their loss to the Falcons.
Look at you. There's a huge smile on
This
your
is
face.
this is all like self-interest. This is totally self-interest.
I see
And
it.
then I see the Bears as the 1 seed of the, and I'm doing this because
What is it about the Bears?
Jay
that
Cutler
you-
in a contract year. Here's what I want to see: redemption stories. Tony Romo, redemption story. Jay Cutler, he gets to smile finally.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Bears still have a fantastic defense, even with the retirement of Brian Urlacher. I see the Bears as the 1 seed, and here's the thing: as a Seahawks fan,
1 seed.
I cannot pick the Seahawks to go to the Super Bowl. My conscience will not let me do that.
You can. You're just worried about what everybody's
Too many
gonna
years
say
on
about
this
you.
earth have shown me that the Seahawks will find ways to lose, and I don't want to. I'm doing them the favor of not picking them
Are
for
you
the Super
being
Bowl.
a negative Nelly right now?
That's my entire career,
Let's
Anita.
hope that your Seahawk fans aren't watching.
You know what? If I do, then if I'm wrong and they win the Super Bowl, guess who wins? This guy right here.
Yeah, you
I
do.
will happily be wrong about that. And yeah, I'm not picking the Niners to beat the Seahawks either because, again, I can't do that.
Let me
Just
ask you
can't
this:
do that.
Seattle, do they lose 1 game at home this year?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
If they do, might be week 2. Niners come to town for Sunday Night Football.
You know they're trying. I guess the Seattle Seahawks fans, they invited Guinness Book of World Records to come there for the decimal because they want to. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's
I think
tough. Listen, that's tough. That is difficult. If you're an opponent and you're there and you're in Seattle to call plays, audible, in that type of environment, it is the 13th, the 12th, 13th man, 12th man.
They
12th man on the
actually,
field.
they're so good. They're the 12th and the 13th man.
Exactly.
They get 2 extra men.
Thank you.
Just from the crowd.
For saving me.
I'm good like that. All right, so there you go, folks. I think the Bears will go to the Super Bowl. I have never felt less confident about a pick.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
What do you guys think? Let us know on the various media that you're watching this on, be it sbnation.com, be it YouTube, iTunes. Sure, why not? Listen to us. Follow Anita Marks on Twitter, @Anita Marks. Check her out, NBC Sports Radio. The Giants are also a fun team to watch.
Yes.
Anita Marks, I'm Matt Ufford. We'll see you next week on Offsides.